Hello everyone, hope you're doing so well and having an amazing week, and welcome to this little video all about the oil paintings I'm working on at the moment. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new, and all of these paintings will be available in my Etsy store. I will leave a link in the description and in the comments. So I was planning to do a vlog, but I have been under the weather this week, so instead I thought I'd show all of the paintings and talk about kind of how many layers it's taken, all the materials I've been using, all that fun stuff. First painting I wanted to show you is of this little cat, and she is sailing on this magical river, and she has picked up a unusual traveler, and this is of course a seagull, but not any seagull. This is a talking seagull, and so she's pretty lost, and she's kind of like, I don't know where I'm going. And this seagull is pretty annoying to her at first, because cats, they don't really like seagulls that much. And however, the seagull starts to give her information about where they are going to travel. And so it's relaying all this information, and they are kind of like exchanging secrets. The cat is telling the seagull about its life, and the seagull is telling it about where to go. The seagull is also saying, where can you find the most amazing fish ever? Like the rarest, most perfect fish, the most delicious fish. And this cat is taking it all in, like, yes, okay, now I understand why the seagull is here. It is here to give me an amazing message. This is a mixture of all my most regularly used paints, which I will talk about at the end of the video. But I did also use Williamsburg. I have a mini set that I bought, which I reviewed on my channel, and I sort of used it a little bit here in the flowers, and used some cadmiums there. I don't always use cadmiums. In fact, in fantasy art, I don't really use them at all, because I like to use more transparent colours. But for the final layer, I sort of enjoyed using it. And I tend to do now about 10 to 20 layers on my paintings, which is why they take a heck of a lot longer than they used to. It's just something that I really feel much happier doing, because sometimes if I rush through a painting, I'm then unhappy with it, and I don't feel like it's fulfilled its potential, and sometimes I can end up discarding the painting. Next up, we have this magical unicorn. I wish to thank you all so much, absolutely everyone who wrote really nice comments on my oil painting reveal. I did a short of this painting, and so many people said such nice things about the painting. I'm so glad that everyone liked it. And this is just a dreamy unicorn that has reached this mystical pool of water, and has spent its life helping others and helping people fulfill their dreams by swooping in on them and trying to help them. However, this unicorn is seeking a companion, like a friend, another unicorn, but has never met one. So it is like a unicorn that it walks the earth for hundreds of years just with humans, but has never met another one of its kind. And this is just kind of based on the idea of, sometimes with fantasy and beautiful creatures, you kind of wonder what their backstory is. Like, are they happy? Are they sad? Are they alone? And there was just kind of that theme. And I used in this painting Charvin, the extra fine oils, as well as Old Holland and Michael Harding and Wallace Seymour, all my usual paints. But I did use some Charvin in this one. I'm actually running out of their paints. So they're super expensive here in the UK. They're kind of milled in France, obviously. And they're great paint line and beautiful full fine detail. So next up, we have a bunny rabbit. My videos would not be complete without a bunny or a cat. So here we have this really very fancy rabbit. And this rabbit is looking for a path, which it is now found, as you can see here. And my whole idea of this bunny rabbit was just that it was in a very dark, overgrown woodland, and it just couldn't really find its way. So I wanted this really overgrown woodland with so much foliage and trees, and I really spent a long time building up this particular area. So this painting has been a long time in progress. That's my chair making a guest appearance, as always. Point thought, this painting is just never going to be finished, kept persevering with it, and somehow I sort of had a breakthrough, and then I continued to build up. Mostly Old Holland in this one. It just seemed to stick with that. I was always frantically trying to finish it, so those were the kind of paints that were nearest at hand, and I felt that they worked really well for these particular flowers. And building up the greens was also very good. I mixed all the greens. There's no pre-mixed green in this. So I'm actually running out as well of Old Holland, which is just so typical, you know, when things are getting good, then all the paint runs out. And finally, we have a frog, drum roll. It would not be a video on my channel without a frog or a toad. In this case, we have a frog, and it is a traveling frog. This is the absolutely countrified frog you will ever find. He is always cutting short his time in London to pack up his suitcase, get in his amazing vintage car. I'm thinking Aston Martin. I don't know why that kind of comes to mind. I don't know very much about cars, as you can tell, but he then sets off into the country with his fully stuffed suitcase. It's only a suitcase for one, but he actually has to have his walking stick, which features here, as well as all his reading material. And he is the ultimate erudite and fantastical frog. He's going to stay in the most fanciest of mansions because, you know, obviously, if you can see by the way he's dressed, that's the type of place he would be. And he's going to probably play the trumpet, I feel, in the dead of night and annoy everyone, even though, because it's a mansion, maybe there won't be many other frogs around or people around, I don't know. But yeah, so this is the ultimate, you know, gentleman frog. And this will also be in my Etsy store. This was the most recent completion. I have 2 mermaid paintings, one portrait, so one girl in a forest, which is going really well. It's actually almost finished. And one owl and a cat. And the thing about owl paintings is probably 90% of the owl paintings I've created have ended in disaster. It is one type of creature, because they do sort of end up becoming fantastical creatures, that I find really hard. I mean, I'm so enthused at the beginning, and I think an owl, I'll do that again, even though I sort of like, it's like I don't really remember how bad I am at them. And then I'll start painting them and be like, why did I start this project? I can't paint owls very well. And I'm not actually talking about the construction of the owl, because that's absolutely fine. It's turning it into a fantastical creature that is the more difficult aspect of it, because as I say, certain birds I'm not fully familiar with sort of transforming, because I just don't paint birds that much. So in conclusion to this shambolic video, I mean, it didn't feel shambolic when I was filming it, but I know when I look back at it, I'll think, what a shambles is because that's what I think every single time, and I'm sure that a lot of people watching might think. So the first paint I'm going to recommend, or that I tend to use, 2 of them, Michael Harding, you can see they've been well worn. I mean, look at the state of this one. So this is one of my favourite colours. It is a pre-mixed colour. It is Amethyst by Michael Harding, as I stated. Beautiful, bright, luminous purple. And if you really want to get that real jewel-like quality in your paintings, these paints they will do all the work for you. I find this especially beautiful when painting fabric. So I'm currently, and flowers as well. So just add a sort of warmish yellow or a cool yellow, and you'll get the most incredible floral colour. Obviously you can modify it depending on what flowers you're actually painting. Next one, King's Blue. This one is King's Blue Deep, but I also really like the King's Blue Light as well. This is a pre-mixed colour. People will be like, purists will be like, you should be mixing your own paint. What is wrong with you? But actually, I find that this is so perfect for skies that if I'm in the zone and in the zone of painting, if I can just grab this one and just sweep it across the sky, it gives just the most beautiful colour. I think this is a dream. Like, I don't necessarily want to mix it. And you can mix it as well with other colours to create, again, beautiful tones for flowers. Things like bluebells works really well for. This is a great substitute for cadmium lemon. And this one is it's called just lemon yellow, but it's from Sennelier, and it's from their finest artist oils. Finest artist oils is what they call that. That's quite a mouthful. I mean, I would just say artist grade. Their artist grade paint, it is far more acidic than it looks on camera here. It actually looks quite almost like it could be warm, but it is super, super cool. And I adore using cool yellows because they are perfect for creating that hit of light. So if you want to hit the portrait, the girl, the woman, the man, the creature, that shaft of light that hits the face or the creature's fur, amazing for that. And just mix it with a little bit of white and you have a perfect colour. You can even use it for sunlit areas. You can also mix it with red to warm it up if you want to. So you've got that, you've got the two options. Okay, next we have Burnt Sienna. I really like Old Holland for their earth colours, so I mentioned a million times and people are probably bored of hearing me talk about it. Old Holland I really like for the strength of colour in their earth tones, very beautiful as well. I really like their Burnt Sienna because it is very, very opaque, and in other brands you often have a transparent Burnt Sienna, which can be useful as well. So I wouldn't knock having both actually if you can afford it, because you know you can never have enough oil paint. But the opaqueness of this I really like. When I use it in an underpainting, because it's so opaque, even when I thin it down it is super strong as a colour, so I have this really powerful underpainting. So then when I paint over and glaze over, I've still got that underpainting still there. If you use colours that are too thin on the underpainting, you can't even see them through. And I kind of like that earthy under value, if you like. Finally, I also am using some Wallace Seymour, but I'm really getting into his Raw Sienna. But I don't actually have it here because it's on my palette right now, like the actual tube. But I will show it in my next video along with some other of their colours, which are incredible. And this is the Old Holland Green Gold. And this is incredible because it is, firstly, I just want to make a point that this is so expensive. It actually makes me weep. It makes me weep. The price of this makes me weep, but it is so good that I almost think it's worth it. I mean, of course it's worth it, you know, but it's just so annoying. I mean, green gold is so expensive at every brand, apart from, I think, Rembrandt. So if you are looking to try out the colour, you could try Rembrandt because theirs is actually affordable and it is really good. The only drawback to the Rembrandt one is that it is slower drying. Also really like it for painting lilies, so water lilies. It just has the most amazing luminance. I don't have a vast experience of it, but I imagine in Michael Harding and Wallace Seymour and all the other brands it'll be just as good. I think they do the colour really well because it is so strong. Of course it is a mixed colour, so purists will flame you if you say that you use it, but I think it's worth it. So don't come at me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too dull. Probably was, but there we go. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching as always, and take care.